Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of WWD What Went Down. We're going to be covering what happened between the Jets and the Bills and how everyone's matchups ended up this week. To kick things off, we had me losing to Pussy in a very close game. Uh, my quarterback was kind of ass. We'll talk about that later. Um, Scrambled, held on to PMC by a good 13 points. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, but Evan held on to it. Karen's husband just blew up on Cree. Cree didn't even have a chance at the end there. And then the other games there wasn't really much that could have been changed there. Just a few points here and there. But overall, congrats to everyone who won. These were big wins because this was division week. Now, kicking things off, Aaron Rodgers is probably done for the season. I don't know if you guys have heard the news report or not. He's feared to have suffered a torn Achilles, which would be a season ending injury if it's true. It's what a lot of people are saying right now. So if you have Rodgers or any receiver on the Jets, yeah, you may as well cut Rodgers at this point. Any receiver on the Jets, I wouldn't necessarily cut them, but their upside is now completely gone. So good luck with that. Yeah, I'm mainly talking about PMC with Wilson. He went from being a potential top 5 receiver in the league to, yeah, maybe 10 points a week. Rest in peace. Anyway, we had Josh Allen, who played like dog shit. Three interceptions thrown. He fumbled. He was really good with accuracy, but he was making some stupid decisions tonight, like actually retarded. Um, James Cook, even though he only had 3.8 yards per carry, actually was pretty solid tonight. They used him a lot, and he was actually doing pretty good. There was a lot of running backs they used. That's a little bit concerning if you have James Cook in any leagues. But overall, I think he did solid. Diggs did his thing. He did really good. First round pick. If you have him in any leagues, he did good for you. Kincaid and Knox shared the snaps. I think Kincaid will start to get more as the season goes on. Gabe Davis didn't really do shit. Um, yeah, there wasn't really too much to talk about. Cook had 4 catches for 17 yards. That's why I said he didn't really do bad. You add it up, that's about 10 points around or so. Not bad, not great. I think if he gets a touchdown, he could have a few pretty good weeks coming up. Um, the main tacklers and playmakers were we had Matt Milano with a pick, although Wilson pretty much threw it right to him. Phillips with a sack. Leonard Floyd with a sack and a half, pretty much replacing Von Miller. He did pretty well, though. The main tackler was actually number 43, Bernard, who was replacing Tremaine Edmonds. And this is someone I would strongly recommend you take a look at if you need a defensive player. Because now that Tremaine Edmonds is gone, they need a main tackler. I thought it was going to be Matt Milano. It actually doesn't look like it's going to be. It actually looks like it's going to be this Bernard guy. I'll have to look up his full name. Actually, I might be able to just click on it here. Terrell Bernard. If you guys needed a player, I strongly recommend that you give him a look because he might be filling in for the tackling spot for Tremaine Edmonds. We're back. Anyway, I think he'll do pretty good. Mr. Bernard. Poyer did pretty solid. He didn't do anything crazy. He's a good 11 points. Hyde did Other than that, there really isn't much to talk about in terms of this team other than that. Then we had the Jets, who had Zach Wilson go in. He did good for his position he was in, but it was mostly all checkdowns. I can't really give him too much credit. Brees Hall was fantastic. If you have him, especially now that Aaron Rodgers is gone, expect a lot of upside out of him. Dalvin Cook really didn't look that great in terms of real life. In terms of fantasy, he looked like he might be a bit useful just with all the catches he was getting in yards. So overall, he didn't have a good game though. And then their number one receiver was actually, well, it was still Garrett Wilson. He had a really nice catch on Tre'Davious White, I believe. Yeah, it was on him. Overall, other than him, the whole receiving core was just non-useful because they were just doing checkdowns the whole game. Now, you might see that DJ Reed had a lot of tackles. I wouldn't go trying to pick him up or anything. He's actually a cornerback. The only reason he was getting all those tackles is literally just because he was getting cooked on every route and would tackle the receiver. So I would not recommend starting someone who does that because he's not going to be getting cooked every week by like elite receivers like Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs just basically bent him over the whole game. Um, Quincy Williams, that is somebody I would take a look at. That's 9, 10 tackles total. He's a linebacker. He did fantastic. Actually out tackled CJ Mosley, which won't happen every week, but he did do fantastic. The Jets just paid him a lot of money. I think he'll actually be really good. So if you need another defensive player, I'd recommend looking at him. Jermaine Johnson had a sack and some good tackles. I'd look at him, but I wouldn't pick him up yet just because this is his second year, so he might have a lot of upside and he might be doing really good compared to last year. Other than that, there was Quentin Jefferson with 2 sacks, but I don't really think he'll be consistent. Other than that, there's only Jordan Whitehead, who Josh Allen felt like handing the ball off to the entire game. He had 3 picks. I would not pick him up or anything, though. That was a one-hit wonder. That'll never happen again. But yeah, I think Josh Allen was just in ties with him, to be honest. They were like, we're going to fuck over Justin in favor of attack. That is the only thing I can come up with, to be honest. And then the kick return game was pretty good for the Jets. They had a kick return touchdown to finish the game, which went into overtime, by the way. So overall, it was a pretty fun week, pretty impactful week. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on Thursday for the next WWD.